Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Boss Mac of BackToGaming.com, and for today's video we have another unboxing and overview of the MSI X299 Gaming Pro Carbon AC motherboard. So it's another long ass name for another motherboard, but yeah, we're used to it. Anyways, moving right along. First, let's take a look at the packaging. So we have the box right here, and I will move this motherboard to the side and actually just making it stand right there for the presentation. But anyways, the box is right here, and yeah, I know you guys hate me for skidding that motherboard on the background, but okay, going back to business, here is the motherboard, and it's a bit lighter from before. So we have a beauty shot of the X299 Gaming Pro Carbon right here. Basically, there's nothing here, just mystic light icons, marketing icons, stuff, words and letters. X299 Gaming Pro Carbon AC, X299 Gaming Carbon Pro AC, X299 Gaming Pro Carbon AC, and alright, words I cannot pronounce. And at the back, of course, we have the feature breakdown of this motherboard. So basically, this motherboard has one of the nifty new feature is the ability to change some of the some of the covers on the heatsink. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 replaceable covers, and yes, they do include different colors for that. So the default one is the carbon fiber finish. It's done in plastic, which I will show you later. So moving right along, we have the Mystic Light. So this is one thing that bothers me. Every brand has its own implementation of RGB lighting, which actually hurts compatibility. So like if you want to go with the G-Skill Trident C memory, you cannot use it right now with this motherboard and configure it directly. You will need to download G-Skill's buggy software, which I actually don't like. But yeah, that's a completely like aesthetic problem. Like, you just want to control your RGB for whatever the hell reason you want to. You paid for it, so yeah, you got to make it work. But this motherboard, it does not support that directly. I think MSI does have some partnership with board partners, or memory makers, which actually supports Mystic Light. One of those is Gill and their Gill Evo X RGB memory, which uses RGB wires still. And moving right along, VR radio. Okay, MSI, I am not even going to talk about that. So we have the audio boost, basically their audio amplification, whatever, and system saver, stuff like that. Lightning USB, which is not, let me clarify, this just say Lightning USB. Basically, it's a just their implementation of faster, better signals, but it's not Lightning and it's not Thunderbolt. Some people might get confused. I did get asked before if this is like Thunderbolt compatible. It is not. So just want to get that out of the way, because some people actually get confused. Like even at this level, like an X299 class motherboard, some people still do get confused because they're really not that familiar and they're just being asked, or they just like the platform, and whatever reason is, yeah, I'm just throwing it out there for educational purposes. So let's get to unboxing, and I will adjust the camera a bit. So we're back, and here is the box once again. So we're gonna open it up, and of course we already taken out the motherboard, so don't get surprised. And we have the someone placed the installation disc here, and here's the compartment where the actual motherboard is placed. There's a bunch of papers in there, but that's for marketing and basically not included in the retail box. And here are the inclusions that you will get in the actual package. And let me see if just can get this a little hot spot over here. It's too bright. Anyway, so starting off, we gotta check out this one, and this is the MSI HB bridge, some generic HB bridge. It's not the armored one that you get in retail from MSI. Also, they do sell that as well. If you want a teamed MSI SLI HB bridge, you could get that. This is just a normal one, and this one are the 3D X mount screws. So basically they do not currently have files for the 3D X mount. They will be coming out with designs that will be compatible for this. They actually don't state where in the motherboard this will be placed, so we're gonna be waiting for whatever MSI comes up with. So yeah, with that out of the way, we have cables, and first off we have the MSI emblem right there, the MSI Gaming Dragon emblem. It's a bit more what do you call this? I think this one looks better. It's not, there's no more black with the word MSI Gaming. It's just a plain red and the silver dragon, which actually works pretty well for me. This looks so much better and cleaner, actually. So we have a bunch of cables, 4 SATA cables to be exact, and I think that is the least amount we have seen in a X299 motherboard from the lot that we have seen this week during the X299 launch. And we have a baggie over here, and we have the, what are these, the IO shield, which is done in black and red. There's a bit of label work also, so you can see, for easier identification of the ports. And we have an RGBW cable right here for use for whatever RGB cable or strips that you may have. And the X299 Gaming Pro Carbon AC, the AC stands for Wi-Fi AC, which actually comes built into the motherboard, and you will get an antenna right here that you can connect to the rear IO connector of the motherboard, so you can get, of course, better signals on your Wi-Fi. And this is the whole extra box. It contains the replacement covers right there, which I will show you later. So I'm just gonna put this close by so we can bring that out when we're checking out the motherboard. And we have a thank you note from MSI, the labels, which I like because you get to write on it by yourself and put it on whatever cable you have. Makes things a lot more easier than actually just using the stock cable notes. And we have a bunch of manuals, and here is the instruction for removing the covers on your heatsink. And they actually included a sheet of how to install the memory, because we've had problems with some of the boards that we've worked with during the launch week of X299, and that is one important thing to note. So I'm just going to put this out of the way, and we're going to take a look at the motherboard. And there we have the MSI X299 Gaming Pro Carbon, whatever, such a long name. And okay, just make it like really right. It's the X299 Gaming Pro Carbon AC from MSI. So I'm just messing around with you guys if you're not catching on. So here we have the motherboard in all its black glory, and that is something I have really enjoyed lately from the products of MSI, because I've been I'm not actually complaining. I'm more of like really tired of the black and red scheme from their gaming line, and they've actually toned that down the same way that Asus has already toned down the black and red. They switched to like a black and purpley gunmetal to actually just black and black on their ROG boards, and the same is actually happening with MSI, but this one is the first variant was the SLI Plus series, and then they changed it up with the inclusion of the Gaming Pro Carbon, which actually has this theme going on of like carbon and black and silver, which really works for me. And so starting off, we have the overall layout right here. So we do get like 8 DIMM slots. We have 4 PCIe X16 slot. Actually, depending on your processor, you're only like to use 2 of those. Actually, the reality is if you're using any of the modern graphics card, GTX 10 series, the RX 480, 580s, stuff like that, you're actually just limited to 2 cards, because that is the only pair. I mean, that's the only multi GPU setup that both AMD and Nvidia are actually promoting for modern day use for gaming and stuff like that. For benchmarking, Nvidia does allow quad and three-way for the 10 series. I'm not particularly sure if AMD supports that configuration, and I have to check. But yeah, right now for gaming you can only use 2 cards, which is actually quite good, because scaling issues, stuff like that, are an issue for like people that use 3, and it's such a waste of money, such a waste of power if you're just not scaling right. So getting back to the motherboard, we have a 12 pace CPU power design, and if you like me, you count the chokes on the motherboard. It's actually just 11. The one remaining is right here, and the CPU area is really clean. So I actually always point out some of the details, scribbles around the motherboard socket, the CPU socket, because that actually introduces some compatibility issues. Like some can just mess up the mounting mechanism of whatever cooler you're using, and that actually happens on some new designs. And I really like the way they kept it clean with just some of these capacitors sticking out, but I don't think that will present any issues because they line up quite well with the rest of the capacitors on the motherboard. So moving over here, actually I wanted to point out the DIMM slots, the memory slots actually have improved. What do you call this? Like metal braces. Used to be, I don't have any of my older MSI motherboard, so let me show you a bit closer look. So these are really integrated into the socket. Used to be the way they first implemented this metal brace thingies, they just actually slapped a piece of metal, really flimsy metal. That's actually one of the things I reviewed before, and I actually hated it. Honestly hated it. So I'm really glad they improved it on this motherboard. So going back to what we're looking at, we have the heatsink right here, the PCH heatsink, which also has a removable cover. It's actually not a cover, it's just more of a style accessory, because the actual heatsinks themselves are all one whole piece, and these just slaps on top of those. Let me just adjust the camera a little bit. Alright, so those, like I was saying, those just attach to the existing heatsink. So there is a USB 3.1 header right here, along with a USB 3.0 front panel header, and we do get 6 SATA 3 slots, which is weird because we only get 4. I think since this was a showpiece, I think some of the accessories may be missing, so that count may not be accurate. And we have a single U.2 slot right here. So moving along, we also have another 2 SATA 3 slot over here. And we have the OC knob, which is a really nifty feature that I actually have not gotten into using, because I'm more of a manual OC guy. But if you can figure out how this works, it actually just goes up by increments. You can twist it, and that will show up in the BIOS, and changes to your frequency will be applied. So as you can see right there, you can do that, and you can change it in the BIOS. So you can actually just use the BIOS UEFI interface to change whatever gear ratio, the gear setting you want. And there's like onboard buttons also for maintenance and troubleshooting. Front panel connectors right here, fan headers. We have a demo. This is actually, I wanted to show you guys the light feature of this motherboard without connecting it to a power supply, because there's actually like a little connector over here. So I think this is what it does. It supplies power to the motherboard lights, and you can connect it to like a USB power bank. It would showcase all of the light features of this motherboard without connecting it to a power supply. All you need is a power bank and that goddamn cable that I forgot to ask to include this on this one. Yes, that would have saved me so much time just to like showcasing the lights with an actual build. Anyways, moving right along, we have the audio boost for the audio area right here. And okay, let's take a look at the rear IO over here, and we have a bunch of USB 3.0, 3.1. This is the AC, the Wi-Fi card right here. Focus. All right, and we have a Type-C port right here. So those are your connectors. We have gold-plated audio. We have CMOS reset and a BIOS reset. I think this is a BIOS flashback for memory upgrade. I'm not too sure. I'm just going to include that in detail in our written review. So let's go back to actually removing some of the replaceable covers. So I'm just going to remove this one because it's the easiest. And these are actually interchangeable. So if you can take this one, you can actually slap this on. They are the same size. And this one is the hardest to remove. I don't want to risk breaking it. As much as it says so in the manual, just pop it like that. It's not coming off, so I'm not gonna force it to come off. And let me just leave it right there. And in the box of the replacement covers, you do get a pair of different colors. You do get silver and you do get gold. So if you're going for those teams, you have the option. And one nifty feature again of the 3D support from MSI is they will actually allow you and give you like templates or the files that you need to create your own designs for this replaceable covers. And this is how you do it. You just plug on, you just snap on the replacement covers, and there you go. Different look already. Yeah, I really want to change everything, but like I said, this one is really hard to pop up. And so let's just try the other ones. All right, with this one, just snap off like this. Don't worry guys, I'm not breaking anything. There's actually like one loose area in this that actually pops the entire thing. And yeah, I just don't want to force it. I like mess something up on camera. That would really shock the MSI people. So yeah, this is that's pretty much it for our overview of the MSI X299 Gaming Pro Carbon AC motherboard. And I've already tested this motherboard. As of this moment, it tops every benchmark that we have, because comparing it to the X299 Prime from Asus, that one uses like the traditional Intel Turbo frequency, so it runs on a different clock speed on all cores when active than this one, because this one implements the highest turbo frequency that Intel specifies for whatever processor you're using. Like for the i7-7800X that we have, that processor on 6 core loads will run at 3.8 gigahertz as per Intel specification, but on this motherboard it will run on 4 gigahertz because that's its turbo core frequency. And basically that was the same goes for in ROG motherboards, Gigabyte gaming motherboards, and all the high-end motherboards that we have. But the Gigabyte benchmarks results because of the compatibility issue that we have for the memory. It ran on stock memory frequency, which actually hurt its benchmark performance. But this one, out of the box with the fresh BIOS from their site, actually run without any problems. Only problem that we probably encountered were just removing this replaceable covers, and that's basically it. The lighting, again, Mystic Light is a proprietary MSI technology. You would need to check compatibility with your memory and RGB devices first. If it's something that runs up directly from the motherboard and not a RGB header. For the compatibility of the memory itself, MSI does have a list of compatible memories, so do check those out before running out and buying new memory kits along with this motherboard. And that's basically it. The build quality is really good. Looks, like I said, I'm a big fan of the simple black theme, the silver highlights, silver trims are doing it right for me. Connectivity, it's very subjective for this kind of motherboard. I mean, for this kind of platform. Like I said, dual GPU is the limit for gaming. For like really high-end use like quadros, you do get to enjoy all the lanes if you're using one of the high-end Core i9s. And we have a U.2 built in, which is a good touch because I do use U.2 drives from Intel. And that's basically it. Also, the Wi-Fi that is included is a nice inclusion. And that's pretty much everything that we have to say. Price has not yet been announced for this motherboard. The actual pre-orders will start at around the 26th, and that's a few days off, and we will update our written review, which I will link in the description. If you're watching this in the future, it is already in the description, so do check out our full review of the MSI X299 Gaming Pro Carbon AC motherboard. This has been your boy Boss Mac of backtogaming.com. If you want to see more videos like this one, don't forget to like the video, comment the video, and subscribe. Peace.